Hey guys, welcome to the live stream. So sorry for the delay. But yeah, today's the day. We've gotten a new update from Lyle or Dotsimulate, and overall this has been a big update, long time coming. We have SDXL and IP adapters being integrated into StreamDiffusion, and on top of that, StreamDiffusionTD. So that means that you can use a better model with image prompting, essentially, in Touch Designer, which is super, super exciting. And because this is with Daydream, you also don't need to have a super good GPU to use it. If you want to get the if you want to get the StreamDiffusion component, you can scan this QR code. It will bring you to Lyle's Lyle's Patreon, and then you'll be able to get the new update as well as the starter project. Might have to double check on the starter project, but we can also just like do that afterwards. But yeah, if you are someone who likes to work with Daydream a lot, you can also try the Daydream API, and that will allow you to build any sort of app on your website, on any sort of like library. You can do something just like Lyle is doing. You can make your own little like UI, just like the playground. But yeah, scan this if you want to try it out. And if you are someone who isn't super savvy with Touch Designer, as much as I try to make it as easy as possible, you can also just try the Daydream Playground. That will always be free, and it's just a little website that you can use to see what StreamDiffusion can do. But yeah, that's all for me. Yeah, Lyle's also coming on, and yeah, he'll talk about all of the new updates and all the fun little knickknacks that are included in this update.
Yeah, hello everyone. And what's up, Andrew? How are you doing?
Super good. Super excited. Super
Yeah.
excited. Oh my gosh.
Don't look at this mess. All right, let me pull up, do a little fresh project. That'll be more up to speed of this stream. But yeah, new version released this morning. Super excited about it. Been really pressing over the past week on a big release. I think I put on my Patreon on the release that like the Daydream implementation is extremely, as far as I know, I could be wrong. I'm sure I'm going to get some bugs from people, which is always helpful and very encouraged. If anyone has any issues, hit me up in Discord and stuff. But I would say that it feels pretty drag and drop, ready to go, both on the 2025 and the 2023 version, because it's kind of a crazy time right now because we just released the new, or not we, but Touch Designer Derivative just released the production version of 2025.
Woo!
So we're like in between full versions of Touch. And I mean, not that we need to go into it too deep, but 2023 has been like the version for almost 2 years now, hence being called 2023. And yeah, we're now right at the very end of 2025, and we have a full new version, which is like a huge upgrade in a lot of ways, but there's a couple weird things, like they rebuilt the terminal integration. So there's some small things that I needed to do, but I got it working hopefully for both the local, but definitely for the hosted version on both 2023 or 2025. So if anyone has got the project file or the tow, I think, Andrew, you said you have a awesome little project UI. Is that something?
Yeah.
You sent a link to me. Is that something that has been shared in the chat?
No, I mean, I just wanted to make sure that you were okay with it. I honestly, wanted you to just upload it onto the Patreon as like a thing that you can download. They can download it like right now or afterwards. I was just gonna go through it. But one thing about it is you will need to update to the latest to the latest Touch Designer because for some reason they have it's like a broken they have broken sliders, like the vertical slider for the like components section. It just won't move. So yeah, you have to update. So I just uploaded.
So it will open, but it won't. It'll yell at you about the warning, but then a couple specific sliders. Yeah.
It's just this the vertical sliders are broken. So just make sure to update to the latest version. I just sent some like an update guide from Derivative, and then I'm also putting in the post where you can get the official 2025 update. It will be free, and it's it's pretty good. Anyways,
yeah, then I guess.
But yeah, I mean, I think we can share it
in the slim chance that
now or after.
In the slim chance that anyone has like still only a license on 2023 and then can't open this file, which you should be able to open in non-commercial anyway, but you can follow along with just using the talks, because that will open in 2023 or 2025. Okay, and then did you want to share this link directly to this folder, or did you want me to put it in a specific folder on mine? Because I can create a public Dropbox link just for this time.
No, yeah, you can. Yeah, no, you can just share it. Yeah, you can post in wherever. But here.
Because I'll put the talks in this folder as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And then we can just put it into this little the Dreaming chat channel, I guess.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay. Cool. Let's see. Actually, yeah.
All right, where should I drop this? In the in Daydream Live, the Discord?
Yeah, the Dreaming chat. So like in the Discord, or in the channel that we're in. But I think there's also apparently.
Oh, I'm gonna be strange and do 2 different ones. I put a QR code and then a different tiny URL, but they both go to the same link, I promise.
Gorgeous. All right. Yeah. You can go, or do you want to just go through the basic like structure of the talks first, and then afterwards I can just go with my little UI?
Yeah, cool. For sure. So the new talks, previously 0.2.99 I released like 2 months ago. It was definitely great. The local version that we're not going to talk about too much, but that was building on like 2 years of me developing and iterating on like that backend locally based on the original StreamDiffusion repo, and then adding like all of the different control nets. And I mean, there was only one control net at the time, but adding all of these different features, and that tech stack became a little bit of tech debt as one person just developing this. But LivePeer has done so much work making this whole repo and pipeline just very usable for both the offline and also now the Daydream stuff. So if anyone's used StreamDiffusion before, you're going to notice a nice refresh of the UI. Pretty much every parameter page has been almost fully rebuilt, if not fully reorganized. So there's going to be a lot of things that are kind of shifted around if anyone's super familiar. To you, I guess I would say thank you for being super familiar, but hopefully you also find this new organization of the UI a lot more easy. We've got the model right at the top, the width and the height. These are going to auto adjust to only the like actually accepted values. And then the prompt is just a single prompt right here, but you can add multiple. I think just for stability's sake, I would recommend keeping it to 1 at the beginning. Same with the seed blocks, but for the Daydream backend. But you definitely can add more during the stream and mix those. And then one thing, if you've used Stable Diffusion or some other things like, I guess Midjourney doesn't really have this, but a lot of things have the idea of denoising. So you take the input image in, and then you're putting it through a diffusion process. So sometimes that's what the step schedule does. The closer to 1 is going to be way more creative, and then closer to 49 is more like the input image. And then seeds are just that random noise. You kind of might know what that is. If you don't, you'll figure it out once we actually start the stream. But then IP adapter, and really this model at the top, this default model SDXL Turbo, is like the super exciting stuff. So I also dropped a pretty short, not super intensive, like as far as process goes, video this morning.
Great tutorial.
To get a little, I would say it's more of like a check-in. I would say this is the first check-in for SD StreamDiffusion V3, which I'm calling it, which is funny because StreamDiffusion V2, the actual paper, just came out. Hopefully I have a version of that coming soon for people on the powerful GPUs. But yeah, the IP adapter and the SDXL control net are really what we're going to have fun with today. So all that being said, you'll see some of these icons at the top left. This is the icons that have been in the local version. Means sleep, image to image, and tensor RT. You don't really need to worry about those when you're dealing with Daydream. You just pretty much need to have your API key loaded. And it's now super simple to grab this as well. If you hit get API key /docs when you're in the Daydream mode, fun fact, when you're in the local mode, you might have an issue because you have a different project open. That's just what this X is. It's an OSC issue. But when you're in the Daydream mode, this will change a little bit. All the options here will change, and you can hit Get API Key, which will open a portal to your Daydream Live account. If you don't have one, sign up, grab your API key, and then just paste that value here. Once you do that, you're good to go. You can hit Start Streaming, and it says Invalid Access Token, which means I should actually enter my API key. Which is, that's actually a good reminder to note that the API key that I used for the tutorial, you can't steal because I canceled it. So let me get myself a new API key. And I can do that by clicking this button. But yeah, let me grab this real quick. I'm going to actually just TD workshop key, and also probably going to delete this after the end of the stream, just in case anyone streams types me right here. Okay, cool. So now I've got my API key loaded, just paste it in here. So this API key is going to store on your computer. Hopefully you don't have to worry about where that is ever stored. If you need to figure that out, let me know. But if you ever need to overwrite it, just grab a new API key or your current value and paste it instead of this like checkbox loaded, and it should be good to go. There is also the option of viewing the documentation. This is my documentation for StreamDiffusion. Currently, it's slightly outdated, and it's probably going to tell you to install FFmpeg. But the awesome thing about this release is you need absolutely nothing. It's just going to do all the API and the connection stuff in the web render processing touch. So I got that error with the invalid access token. I just hit stop stream there, and then I'm going to hit start stream again. And you're going to notice a couple new things. If I hit this plus at the bottom, this UI is selectable. So also when you get the errors, that is a selection box at the top right, and you can easily copy and paste that. There are a couple errors that you might see at the beginning of the stream, which at this point I think are things that they need to fix on the API side, but specifically just pointing it out, this update. T-index list must be in non-decreasing order or something. Kind of strange because I only have one T-index list. So there's a couple like errors you might see that are like, hey, why do I get this? But if it doesn't show up in the operator in the UI, it pretty much probably has nothing to do with you.
Hmm.
So like you're seeing, I got a banana with the input is a noise texture that's not moving at all. So the result is a banana that's not moving at all. And then we can start playing with the settings, get it a lot more like that noise texture, mess around with the seed. These are all things that we could have done StreamDiffusion before, but you will notice that quality bump. And then we can go banana on banana with a banana being
Oh,
the
perfect.
image. Hold
Gorgeous.
that. You're not going to see any effect because that waits at 0, but then we can bring up
There
the
it is.
banana value. And then now this banana is more banana. But it's
Amazing.
also, I would say, too much banana. Let's bring it down to more reasonable, like 0.4, 0.6 is like, I feel like a good IP adapter zone.
Yeah.
But now we have the image prompt of the banana. So I can say just in the like text prompt, HD render in the style of like oil painting. Let's see if this works. I don't know. So we're getting a little bit of an oil painting. It kind of looks like
Pear.
pears.
Yeah.
If we go no IP adapter, we're just going to get some standard little oil painting flowers. We ramp that up. Slowly it turns into
Wow.
kind of a pear-like weird banana, but definitely in that oil painting style that is applied
Pretty
by the
good.
text prompt. And then we can kind of ramp through our seeds to get a better sense of what this mixture is like. And
Wow, it really wants it to be a pear.
yeah, I mean, honestly, it's one thing you have to keep in mind is this IP adapter stuff is going to take this whole image, no matter the cropping, and fit it down and do a clip embedding on top of it. So realistically, what is it? Key, RGB key. That's how you get that black background just to see. We're getting so much of this image going in is just pure black.
So that's something good to know
like
about
this
like pre-copying.
Image being kind of, I would say almost muddy, I would describe it as, is probably a little bit to do with the background being full black. If I went with this RGB key, it would be the exact same image.
And I'm sure people are gonna want to use try it out, but what will happen if you were to use a video? Would it take the first frame and just like kind of do that and update only every pulse?
So let me see. In light of, or let's just grab a little super short recording I did of this screen cap. So this is just something I recorded from the video. And so your input going in is going to stream every single frame. And that's what you would expect. It's not what you're asking about. But if I drag a null over here and let's say instead of wiring it in, this is something you hook up in the pars. So this is null IP adapter. Just make it really clean and very clear. That's going in here. And when I pulse this, it's going to be a super interesting IP adapter because it's just GitHub. As soon as I pulse that, it's going to grab the image and upload it as a single frame. So it is like a pulse-based image upload system. And in theory, this is not something I would recommend in practice, but in theory, you could have an LFO or something pulsing this pulse every once in a while. The issue with that is it's uploading the full image every time to the API. And instead of being a video like streaming protocol, you're not going to get that consistency with knowing the order of the frames. This is something you can kind of do locally a little bit more consistently because you're not traveling over the internet. But also, I would just think of the IP adapter like single frame as not necessarily like super locked, but it's like your grounding prompt. And then these prompt blocks are the thing that you want to interpolate and explore with. So if you want to switch things up, every frame as far as the style goes. I mean, every frame is switching up the embedding is just kind of heavy. But I would say like maybe pulsing this update image every second or 2 seconds is probably about as fast as the Daydream API wants
So
you to do it right now. I'm sure you could pulse it, but you might get like rate limited. These are
right.
some of the
Yeah.
things that come with using an internet service instead of your own
Yeah.
GPU to run all these things. But also,
So better to just like put on 2 prompt blocks and then just interpolate between those two if you want like something more
yeah.
dynamic.
And I think like a setup that Andrew's going to share, which also, speaking of which, I have. Oh, I already shared the link. Never mind. I was like, oh no, I didn't share that link. Another thing you can do is have like a folder of files and create some sort of logic that like anytime you switch the folder or the file, it will automatically upload that single image.
Yeah.
And you can do some detection techniques or something. We probably won't get into them today, but like
some naming, some cases, and that changes other parameters and prompts and
grab your null and do a difference, do that analyze over the top to chop, and then whenever that pulses 1 or gets a high enough threshold, you'll pulse the StreamDiffusion IP adapter thing. I guess I don't know, arguably I could have added some sort of detection in here, but some of that chop to top detection or top to chop is kind of heavy. But yeah, I mean that's going over a lot of like the. I guess I didn't touch ControlNet or any of the other pages. I could go.
I'm kind of curious about control nets though. Just more so like what is SDXL offering, and then on top of that, if you like open up the model ID or no, sorry, the preprocessors, there's a bunch of stuff going on here. Like, can users use all of those, or is it like?
Yeah. So in theory, you should be able to. This is the official list sent by the engineering team directly to me on the list of processors that are supported in the API. I would recommend, which anyone that's using SDXL with Daydream, the way that it kind of works is as soon as you start the stream, you're kind of setting the list of parameters that you can explore. So if you know you're going to only want depth, I only have 1 as a default with the operator just because I don't want to overwhelm you. If you know you only want depth, just keep it as the base default configuration. But if you want to mess with all 3, there are 3 options for SDXL. We have the depth one, also canny, and tile. So you can add with these plus and minus button, add 3 control nets and select all 3 models. And then also down here, the control net helpers. These are toggles that are basically just going to anytime you set a certain thing in the UI, there's a lot of different things that depending on the config for StreamDiffusion, you need those models to be compatible with each other. So if you don't want to think about it, which I would kind of recommend because I thought about it a lot, just keep all of these toggles on. So if I was to turn all these off and change to canny, you'll see that depth TensorRT doesn't change. Also, if I went like SD Turbo instead, none of these options change. But if I turn them all on, and they won't change because they're compatible with SDXL, but now I can turn them back to SD Turbo, and it'll say auto updated ControlNet from ControlNet SDXL to 2.1. And now we have 2 things, which are canny diffusers, which I just switched it to canny right there at the very last second. So they both switched to canny, but then the SDXL tile doesn't have a compatible twin in 2.1. So there's probably some sort of warning in here. Actually, that warning might be locked behind debug, but whenever you change the model, you're just going to want to go in here, and it'll be pretty obvious, like I was saying with start stream. stream creation failed because the control net options invalid, expected different options. And then you're going to want to go, like, you look at that. If you have things playing, hitting A to activate it, or hitting this plus, and then maybe selecting this might make it easier to read, or to copy and paste to someone. But then pretty much you want to go into the control net page and just make sure these options are actually matching the drop downs here. So also going to hit stop server just to stop that process. And I'm going to switch it back to SDXL just because it's so much better to demonstrate. And when I did that, all of these things changed back to the correct model, but I still have that depth. I want that depth at that first position, and let's start stream here. Now we got stream offline, creating stream, loading pipeline, connected to Daydream. One thing that will be handy occasionally, if you get any strange issues, is the stream ID, which is kind of like the identifier. And the Daydream team can look at that and detect some of the things. That
Good to include it in your bug reports. The engineering team really, really appreciates it. I forget a lot of the times, and I feel really bad.
And then, yeah, here we are back to an HD render in the style of an oil painting, which I guess is probably a bit of an oxymoron. Let's just go painting in the style of an oil painting. Added a subject or a little slight thing there. And then when you start the stream, also, this IP adapter is going to try to auto apply the image. But if we pull this value up, well, we're just not getting much of an effect. And actually, that's because the IP adapter image was
the same,
the image of the browser. So it looks like it did apply, but it is just going to be handy for you to manually pulse this likely once you get the connection. There might be some like almost rainbow chromatic effect feeling like it's going on, but that's just the default image. And once you pulse this, you should get past that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to get rid of this wonderful screen cap version and just go back to our banana because it's fairly familiar. So right now I have no control nets on, pretty much fully denoised. We have this odd banana
thing.
Each of these control nets here is going to bring, or at least these top two, depth and canny, are going to bring the image a lot closer to the input image. So Daydream is using the first input for control net and then processes that image with a preprocessor and then puts that into the control net. So I probably should have gotten here a little bit sooner, but if you have all of these options on, you don't need to worry about the preprocessor options because this is automatically going to set the preprocessor to the right control net. And especially on the Daydream side, it's going to handle that very, very cleanly. And then for something like Canny, it's not actually giving it this image. It's giving the image with a bit of an edge map, but then that preps it to be handled well here. Yeah. And then another one that's probably worth just doing a bit of a, maybe not a full tutorial, but at least covering it in a tutorial that I might be coming up in a week or so. But this feedback preprocessor with the tile SDXL is almost like a V2V equivalent. Let's just get a bit of a transformation going. Again, not going anything crazy with the touch designer nodes. I probably have covered this exact setup in like 3 setup videos, but just bringing a ramp LFO in with a 360 amplitude to get our banana spinning. We'll plug it in.
Impressive.
And now we get a little bit of motion so that we can see kind of this feedback in action. So this is now all 3 of the control nets, weight of 0. But as I drag this feedback strength up, we're going to get, I mean, it almost looks slightly glossy, but we are getting like the seed noise like it's almost like reaction diffusion, but within the diffusion process, each frame. Um,
And you
and
can also change the feedback strength, right?
yes. So this should have a bit of an effect.
Is it like how far it's going back in? Because it's like basically taking like a previous frame and then like helping it adjust,
Yeah.
right?
So the last output here is going back into a feedback loop on the backend side in order to adjust. The tile control net is almost like a image reference. So I found like 0.4 feels like a pretty good
Yeah.
value.
I like doing like 0.2, 0.2, like for both of them. That's like a pretty 0.2 tile, 0.2 feedback strength around there. It's like really sensitive. It's a bit finicky, but it works really well. It does keep things pretty consistent, which I like.
Yeah. And we'll see. I mean, it's not super clear, but it actually resembles more just standard feedback and touch. You get a little bit of that image blending in. And then also, if I ramp it up with that little bit of noise, like almost divergence there, if you randomize the seed a little bit, it's kind of hard to tell, but I think this is just not necessarily the best input image. Also, I think it's the control net of the banana.
Oh yeah, there we go.
So now let me bring this feedback down to like 0.4 or so. And definitely getting the influence. It's almost like moving the image around. But if you get a little bit of a random noise in there, you're going to get a lot more jumping around within the image. But you'll notice it's not flashing. Like it's not instantly jumping. This has more of a like a V2V feeling. Yeah. Like you were saying, it's very sensitive. Like point. Yeah, that feels a little bit more flowy. Other things that you can do that I would recommend is playing with some like slightly different resolutions. Maybe if you wanted to go with like a vertical one, it's actually kind of funny. Auto crops it, gives it a little preview there. But
someone in the chat asked a question.
Yeah.
Fran Mandon. Hi guys, I really admire your work. I wanted to ask what the possibilities are for using Flux Dev and including LoRa's. Is there LoRa's in this update?
Yeah, so this is something that the stability or the support might improve, but this is something I can improve and update remotely, kind of. It just requires a user install. For the local version, in the models page, we have this LoRa dictionary, which is like another like block-based system where you can add multiple LoRa's. It is something where it needs to be running locally, and then you need to set those LoRa's and weights at the beginning of the stream. So it is possible, but it's, I guess, technically a little bit more limiting than my last local version. But also, I will be the first to admit that my last local version with LoRa's, the updating live was not the most consistent as far as like always getting all the models to load and then update, and especially switching between things. It was just a lot. As far as the Daydream version, I'm not sure when the LoRa's are coming, but I know they are. I know that's something that the backend team is working on.
Great.
Awesome. Yeah, we're going 576 by 832, and the API is reporting 23 FPS. That's so fast.
I'm really excited about the resolution change. I feel like that was something that
this is actually a really fun setup, even though I'm getting some like connection issues with the stream.
Oh, dog.
Oh, it's
so interesting.
It's doing like the same
dog, yeah.
Well, that's because my seed's the same, so it's just
right.
It's getting itself into a recursive loop. Now we won't get that dog. But it was also like, I don't know why it was pausing on specific frames. This is honestly, I would say, pushing the resolution a little bit more than you should.
Yeah.
Let's get a slightly similar aspect ratio, but with 440 by 576 feels a little bit more.
I like the timer that you added for like showing how long the live stream is. It's pretty good.
Yeah, so it's
Did
both
you-
an uptime timer, but also while you're connecting.
Mhm.
It's kind of a handy indicator. You'll see it just switch from 0 to like it popped to 12.
Yeah.
So the first time you connect to any sort of Daydream server, it's probably going to be counting. And ideally, hopefully, it should connect within about 30 seconds. Hopefully, it proves me right here. Come on. But occasionally, you might see this number reach all the way up to about a minute and then switch down to 0 and go to 15. And then it should connect about 30 seconds. And I think that is the Daydream switching you automatically to a better GPU or something that is more available in your area.
Oh,
So
nice.
it's not like the most obvious status indicator, but it's something to keep an eye on. A couple other things just for like information wise. We have this out 3, which has handy info here, and that's in dat space, but we also have all these nulls here, or these chops in a null. If in the settings 3 page, there's an outputs thing, and you can select all for the chops, which will show the local and the hosted, or you can just only do the selected backend. And then if you wanted to look at the logs, you can look at the logs, or you can look at the Daydream web status, which has a lot more info. This is actually kind of fun to see. If I hit stop stream here, just open up this table for all of the info nerds. As the stream is launching, you get a lot of information coming in here. So if you really want to see what's going on with the connection and stuff, you can just look at the table here, and that's available in the out 3 in settings 3.
Someone asking another question. Is it important to load into the StreamDiffusion talks picture of the same resolution as set up inside the talks? Okay, I think yeah. So does the input resolution matter?
No. Yeah.
Okay.
So inside, peek behind the curtain, I've got a couple different things. I mean, only this top one is being used for Daydream, but I am grabbing it, and then I am fitting it.
Yeah.
And technically flipping it upside down before I'm fitting it. So, but you don't really need to think about that. But that means that you could, in theory, if you really wanted to, or if you accidentally did, send a, what would this be? 10,000 by 5,000 pixel resolution image into it. It doesn't have any effect. This API issue is a really long base64 invalid image error, which means that I guess the RGB key, which is this banana, when I sent it, I might have sent it too early in the stream. So like I was saying, the IP adapter is going to send one kind of like query to the API just to try to get the stream set up for you. Another thing about the operator, in the settings 3 page, you can hit this hide UI errors button, and that will make any errors that have happened previously just disappear from the UI for then on out.
Nice.
They'll also clear if you hit stop server and start again, but that breaks your connection to the API. So depending on what you're doing, you might not want to do that. But also, if you're hitting any weird stuff with the Daydream thing, especially if you're getting any 404s up here, occasionally that does happen, but I've noticed that happens only from the very start of the stream. So like, if you're getting 404s, you're going to see them pretty early. And I just recommend hit stop stream, start again. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Is there anything else you want to share?
I mean, that honestly actually
That was,
covered every
yeah,
single,
that
or
was
I
really good.
touched the settings 2 port. There's this Daydream server port thing.
Mm.
So if you're a crazy person and you needed 2 Daydreams,
Oh,
similar to the OSC and the stream out name, you don't need to worry about those, but definitely set this port to 2 different numbers, so 7849, 7845.
have you ever done like a stream diffusion into another stream diffusion?
Yes, I have.
Cool.
So this one, and we can just select both of these, and we'll let them race to see who starts first.
Cool. And
And
whoa. And one more thing. So for the Daydream Man, I feel like this question is probably going to come up for people who use the local version a lot.
Mhm.
What does the second input of the StreamDiffusion talks do on Daydream? Does it do anything?
On Daydream, not currently. So there is, like I was saying, there's one image feed going to the server,
Mm.
and all of the control nets, which both of these have all 3 enabled, both doing the
Mm.
same feedback type of look. But each one of these control nets are going to be just using the preprocessor over this input image.
Mm.
And looks like we got another invalid image on the IP adapter side. But also, I would say that some of these API issues are things that will likely get smoothed out.
Yeah.
And the way that I'm sending it from the op, as far as I know, doesn't necessarily need to change. I
Yeah.
am the second one is still loading, and this first one had error updating parameters. So I'm actually just going to restart the first one, keep the second one loading because it should connect. I am expecting soon to try to build out a updater option that will likely maybe even do remote downloading of like a talks via Patreon authentication or something.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping for my next version, quote unquote, next release of StreamDiffusion will be something that enables almost like nightly fixes or nightly builds if I
Yeah.
release them, and then there will be some sort of like more straightforward update interface, perhaps even something that you can like go to about and just hit check for updates and it will pop up and it'll be like, do you want to update? And you'll say yes. If you're good to go, it'll just do it. If you're not, it'll open up Patreon and have you sign in real quick. But then that'll tell Touch like you're good to go.
Cool. Someone in the chat asked, so I am wondering how one can use the image input as a reference as a style. Oh, I think that is just an IP adapter. I can get into that in my workflow. I feel like that would be better.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, we can wait until then. But
Oh, it didn't apply there. Now
nice.
we got the oil painting here in the first one going into Batman.
Oh, that's crazy.
And let me
That's
make
so
the
silly.
second one a little bit more like the oil painting. So now we have
Oh my
oil
god.
painting and a slight delay on the second one, but honestly not too noticeable. But then a little bit of a so I'm like half diffusing the second version, which just adds a touch of Batman.
Cool. I'm just looking at the time. It's like 8:53. I feel like I should quickly go through mine, and then, leave it up to some questions. Mine's not too complex, and I feel like it's supposed to be like that. But yeah, if we want to change the screen share.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Okay, awesome. Great. So Lyle just gave you a full rundown of the entire talks. So if you're a regular Touch Designer user, that's probably insanely helpful. if you're not a regular touch designer user, you're probably like, I don't know what any of these pages do. So yeah, I am here to kind of help with that. If you want this like file is basically just a little companion for this update, and it's gonna just like teach you guys how to use StreamDiffusion. There's a lot of parameters, especially for SDXL, and yeah, it's just like a little simple UI. If you go from just like starting from the left-hand side, there is just a StreamDiffusion. Like we have these in like kind of like separate like boxes. So the first one is just like the input and the output. You can just grab any movie file in. You can also do a video device in. If I just turn off my camera here and I just turn it on here. Oh, I think it might be
Windows.
Windows. Okay, whatever. You just have to look at my floating ball pit. But yeah, like,
is that in Pops?
No, I actually made this like a year and a half ago. Is this like
this is just flex solver type stuff?
No, it's Pocket of 12's Verlet integration, and then I made it into 3D, and then I added a bit of attractors, and it was like completely by accident. But it was like one of like the reason why there's only like so few balls is because like this is the most before it just like crashes my PC. It's super unoptimized, but it's a really good input image. But yeah, you put in input, and then you just like do that. There's a few things like just like some instructions for you guys on like how to, you know, install it and whatnot. And then there's like a IP adapter folder select. This is really fun.
Yeah, that's a good setup.
Yeah, it's a great setup. You don't even need to like worry about whether or not your folder has all like photos. It just automatically sorts it for you. And yeah, you can just choose any folder that you would like. And once you do, it's good. If it's empty, it should automatically just like disable. It just turns it off. So like, it has an error, but the IP adapter is empty, and then it actually turns it off already for you. But yeah, the whole point of this is that you don't need to look at this entire thing. So I'm just gonna press P and get rid of this. But yeah, actually, hold on. I'm gonna bring this back.
after
yeah,
not burger, but
yeah. But yeah, so like there's a little stop and start button. You can just start it from here, color coded, so you know what's working. There's a little recording option as well, and this automatically. I'll just go over here. It brings it into a side by side. So what you'll be recording is exactly this. And it's 1280 by 720, but it's just so that you can just record something, and that's the maximum that Touch Designer will let you do on a free version. But yeah, you do that. This is a prompt box, so you can change it if you'd like. To just like get rid of little polygon.
Yeah, and that's nice too, because you have it. Once you have it in a UI like this, it can update live. So it'll update anytime you type versus if you use the prompt box in StreamDiffusion, because it's a parameter, it'll only update every time you kind of exit the parameter. Let it apply.
Which I think, depending on your use case, it's definitely something that some people might want it to update while you're typing. Sometimes, you don't. But yeah, you can mess around with this. And then this is where you can scrub through your IP adapters. So any IP adapter, any image works, I believe, like PNG, JPEG. I don't know if WebP works, but
that's just a Touch Designer thing. It won't load WebP into the movie file in as an image file. There's a slight workaround you can do, but not recommend it. I mean, yeah, you can. I think I've gotten them to load using the web render.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's like a native thing. I might have had to like load it into a web render with some sort of HTML.
So try to keep it into PNGs and JPEGs if you can. I do have one WebP. I don't know what this is. I don't even know what half these photos are, but yeah. Anyways, at the bottom, there are your control nets. So there's canny, depth. These are your classic ones that, kind of came with SD Turbo. And yeah, if you turn them all down, you kind of get no adherence. And then, yeah, the step size, what I've done is it's similar to our Daydream playground where you can't go. Yeah, you really need this to be in order. So 1, 2, 3. I also think that, having 3 step sizes kind of gives you a lot more just control, I would say, over like how you want your final image to look. So yeah, 3 is good.
Yeah,
For SDXL.
another
Sorry?
thing real quick to point out about the op. You'll notice the step schedule parameter plus minus is unlocked. So you don't need to like try to set and forget that value on the hosted version. Technically, in the local version, you also don't need to set and forget that value, but it's slightly less consistent. In my testing, you can decrease the number of blocks, but not increase. These are small fixes that I'm hoping to update soon. But yeah. So if you wanted to like start a stream, you could switch between one, then you can add a couple. They do need to be in order, but it won't break the API. It'll just give you a little one of those like red flag errors like I was showing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's another thing about the step size, I think, from just personal testing compared to SD Turbo is that you kind of really want a higher like step size, like starting from like 22, 30, like above 15. It really helps for like a good quality image. For SD Turbo, I was always keeping it a bit lower. But that's just like a personal experience. But yeah, definitely play around with that. But yeah, canny, depth, those are all just taking your characteristics. Canny is an edge map. Depth is I guess, like it estimates 3D space. And yeah, the tile function, the tile and the feedback, Lyle went through it. I really like to keep it between 0.2, 0 to 0. 0.2 to 0.4 for like anything that you're trying to do. Anything else, it just kind of gets a little like too feedbacky, and then I don't really love the way that like looks. But yeah, all of this is just for you to kind of play around with and really experiment without actually needing to go through any of the I guess like sifting of touch designer UI. If you still want to, you can. Like I didn't include stuff like the seed block. So yeah, you can still like kind of go crazy with that. What else is there that I didn't add? Oh, there's also actually, yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. So yeah, like try it out and yeah, try it out and like record something, and then you can share it to either Lyle's Lyle's Discord or Daydream's Discord. And yeah, one more thing that I wanted to shout out is, it's really fun to experiment. Like why I'm really excited about this is that it's really fun to just experiment with stuff in Touch Designer and then put that into a StreamDiffusion workflow to see what happens. So like this, like even though this is a movie file, like this is something that you could just make in Touch Designer and then just like afterwards just plop this down, right? And yeah, so like you can incorporate lots of workflows. And so one thing that Daydream is trying to do, we are trying to make all of these workflows available for people because it's really confusing, or like it's really, really, there's like an unlimited amount of ways to interact with Touch Designer and StreamDiffusion and just like real-time AI in general. So here's a little like website where you can just download little workflows. I have one too, like my flower thing that I made. You can download this for free. and just like get it in. But yeah, that's just like a quick little plug that I wanted to give out, because there's a lot of free files that you guys can just like play around with and mess up with your prompts, or just like with like, I don't know, touch designer stuff. And I personally want to see what people come up with. So yeah. But aside from that, I think that's all I really had. Oh, I just realized my camera has been off this entire time. Whoopsies.
I don't think we've been shown too much of the camera recently.
But... yeah. Let me see what else. Oh, any other questions? There's for StreamDiffusion V2.
Yeah, I just saw that one. Yeah, V2. I've gotten it running locally on the 4090. It is a WAN based. It's a video model, so it's actually like a totally different beast in a sense, where it is doing real time video. And if you've messed around with any of the WAN models, you'll know locally. You'll know that they pretty much want to use the entirety of your 24 gigs. But I was able to get StreamDiffusion V2 running using Scope, which is another project by Daydream that we'll probably be seeing a lot more of soon. And it ran on my 4090 using the entirety of the 24 gigs. So long story short, I would say 24 gigs as the minimum VRAM requirement for now. I'm sure that the community is going to, like on the ComfyUI side, but also on the real-time diffusion side, going to do a lot to get that model fitting on smaller cards and future models. But yeah, for now, it's definitely a heavy one. Also, this version of StreamDiffusion locally is definitely a lot heavier and will eat up a good amount of VRAM. SD Turbo is still supported and uses significantly less VRAM. It also doesn't have IP adapter support. SD Turbo, that is. So IP adapter being in the model itself adds a little bit more of VRAM. You can turn off IP adapter in the local version, and that will create a model that's without IP adapter with SDXL and SD Turbo. But yeah, the like I said on my Patreon, and I think at the beginning of the stream, the local model is probably listed as, or the local version is probably listed as more of an experimental build, maybe not like full alpha. It's definitely pretty well tested, but it gives you full access to break the pipeline by setting any small parameter in the wrong way. Hopefully it gives you enough information that it makes it easy to adjust. But the Daydream version is just drag and drop into Touch, no installation necessary. You just need that API key, and hopefully it catches all the errors, doesn't break the stream, and makes it obvious, kind of like what you need to go back and adjust. And all the settings are the same. So in theory, if you were building like a big installation that you even knew you were going to run locally on some crazy GPU, but maybe you didn't have it yet, you could iterate and build on your whole project and get pretty close to the same result that you're going to get locally, which is also exciting and definitely like one of the goals between Daydream and the local version. Like we're trying to like kind of pair them and get the best things from both worlds added on both ends. So that's pretty exciting as well.
Awesome. I mean, yeah, I think that's all I wanted to really share. Do people have any questions? I mean, it's already 9:08, so technically time's up, but like people are curious. We can answer some questions. You got Q's, we got A's, probably.
Just G's, just big guesses.
Just big guesses, yeah, estimates. I've never.
It's a wacky setup.
Well, I was really happy to figure out these little guys.
Wormy guys or something. I don't know. little
Love
creepy, cute.
little buggies. Oh, yeah. But yeah, I mean, oh, okay. No more questions. Oh, how hard is it to code Daydream API based streaming services into Max for live with Ableton? I have never worked with the API, but maybe Lyle has some insight on just like how it is working with the Daydream API in general.
Yeah, so it's, I mean, as far as like real-time video stuff, it's, I mean, it's pretty consistent. You're using a WebRTC connection in and out. I'm trying to think on my knowledge of Ableton and Max for Live. I'm not sure how you would get the video in and out, or what the style, like what the type of process to do the processing is. But the Daydream API has support for, let's see, if you go to the daydream.live.intro, there's really decent docs for writing the code to connect to the API. And if I go to quick start, oh no, what would be the right page? Authentication, app generation, code examples. So I thought there was aspect ratio. No. If I go to quick start, there's a bunch of Python examples. And there's also a decent amount of examples for creating like stuff with the API with an LLM. And that's what I was trying to find. I'm just not getting, I guess maybe they changed around the docs site and everything that I thought was there is just hidden from me because I don't know how to find the thing. Oh, in the API reference. So if you hit the post standard thing. The what?
I just realized it's on my screen. So here, let me try to find it.
Nice.
There we go.
So on the Daydream docs.daydream.live, you can check out, they've got examples in curl, JavaScript, Python, PHP, Go, Ruby, and Java. So depending on what the like code level that you would have access to, you should be able to figure out something that is getting this connection to work. My Touch Designer one is using like a combo of JavaScript and Python to do the authentication and the video streaming.
Okay, awesome. Well, I think we can call it. Thank you everyone for joining. Yeah, if you want to get this update, once again, you can go to Lyle's Patreon. That will also have the starter project, hopefully, I believe. If not, we'll figure out a way to distribute that. But yeah, thanks so much for joining, guys. And yeah, hope to see everyone in the next one. Bye.